Greetings YouTube, Furious Tomato here, taking a look at Ao Kuang Reborn. Although he's listed as a mage, I consider him more of an assassin. I think he's going to be in the jungle role for Conquest, as far as the meta's concerned. I don't know that he's going to, I think he can play the other roles, solo or mid, but he's going to be much more effective as a jungler. So anyhow, his abilities start with King Sword, which is his passive. While out of combat, he regenerates this energy in his sword and has 3 charges. If you have a charge available when you use an ability, you get a 5% damage bonus. If you're completely out of mana and you have a charge available, it'll use that charge to empower that ability rather than mana. So that's kind of cool. We'll back up. Number 1 is Water Illusion. This is a vanish similar to Loki, but it also leaves behind like a Loki decoy. You actually have 1 additional second over Loki. So he has 5 seconds of invisibility, although any damage that you do or have done to you will break it. So that's the difference there. And you can detonate that at any point in time for additional damage. So it's pretty cool. His number 2, Dragon Call, is what you're going to be prioritizing when you play him. What this does is it summons 6 small dragons that circle around him. And you have 2 options here. One, you can auto attack. You can see one, and the dragon comes up and hits. Or you can I killed him too quickly. Or you can summon your dragons and then hit 2 again. It'll shoot them in a line and it'll combine them all into one. Now the damage isn't as high per dragon when you when you shoot them off like that. But what it does do is it adds a slow. So it's a 1 second base and then 0.25 seconds for each additional dragon that you shoot at him. So for 6 you have a 2.5 second slow of 30%. So that's gonna be pretty helpful. Relatively short cooldown. So decent event ability there. Anyhow, his number 3 is Wildstorm. This is some people will be prioritizing this. Just depends, simply because it does have a very short cooldown, and depending upon how you build, since this triggers on hit effects such as lifesteal and things like that, they may choose to prioritize this instead of the 2. I think the 2 is gonna be the way to go. Oops, wrong one. But like I said, this has a very short cooldown. So this is something you can spam. The mana cost is relatively high early game at 60, so you're going to burn through mana very quickly. So even as a jungler, you're gonna need lots of blue pots, or you're gonna, I don't know. It's up to you how you want to play that. But me personally, I'm gonna be prioritizing his number 2. So yeah, that's just damage in a cone. His ultimate, King of the Eastern Seas, is an execute similar to Thanatos's, but it's only in melee range. You don't fly up in the air until you actually perform the execute. So you can see once he gets in an execute, come on, get on, stupid heal. Don't want to kill. Okay, so there you go. So, alright, so you can see once I get in range, that means I can execute him, and that'll take him up and basically eat him. Then you're up there for a second. You can kind of pick your landing spot, and you'll go down. And you can travel quite a ways with that, so it's going to be a really good escape, in a sense. Simply because if you do not kill them with the execute, if they're not within that execute threshold, and at max rank it's 35%, then you'll knock them up in the air, but you won't go up in the air. So you can use it to kind of take somebody out of the fight for like maybe a second. But if they're not in that execute range, it's not nearly as powerful. And then when you come down to the dragon form, you do some additional damage. It's not real high damage, 300 plus a percentage of your magic power. So as far as the way that I equip him, basically equip him like an auto attacker. So I get Shoes of Focus instead of the Pen Shoes. Because I don't have any like large, cooldown reduction items. I have Wingblade, so I have 25% cooldown reduction, and Wingblade's kind of my situational item in this build. So this, you may go Chronos Pendant or Breastplate of Valor or something like that in place of Wingblade, depending on the situation, who you're playing against. So anyhow, Shoes of Focus, like I said, for the cooldown reduction. Hasten Fatalis is an absolute must core item on this guy. Demonic Grip, like I said, I play him as an auto attacker. This is where I get my pen from for the most part. Since you get that reduce the target's magical protection by 7% and additional 5 points for 3 seconds, max 3 stacks. So right there you get, what 36? Can I add? So 36%, or well, whatever, 21% plus 15. So it's not an actual 36%, but you know what I'm saying. And then Void Stone, simply because most of your stuff is going to be up close and in their face. So you want that, magical protection reduction around you. And then, of course, Rod of Tahuti. So he's pretty squishy, which is why I went with Wingblade. His base HP is very low at like 1880. And so I really like the extra HP from Wingblade, the cooldown reduction, attack speed, move speed, the whole deal. And he does have a hit progression, which is kind of, which is why, or part of the reason why I see him as a more of an assassin than, you can see 75, 75, 150, it's ticking away there. So his hit progression, let's see here. So 1.0 or 1, and then 0.5, 0.5, and then 1 times the damage. It's kind of weird, whatever. But anyhow, he does have a hit progression, so that's something to be aware of. So he attacks very, very quickly, but you get that reduced damage. So although it looks very, very cool, you're not going to be hitting for Artemis on crack attack speeds for that kind of damage anyhow. But obviously you have a lot of things to complement you. You can still melt through people very, very quickly. I think he's going to be very strong. I think that, like I said, he's going to be a jungler for sure. I just don't see his sustain being suitable for solo lane, and I don't. He doesn't have enough ranged poke for mid lane. So I think he's going to be a very good addition. I think some people are going to get absolutely wrecked, and there's going to be a lot of screaming about being OP. And who knows? Maybe they're right. But I look forward to him being on live. And that's about it. Ao Kuang Reborn.
Water can flow, or it can crash.